one of the big questions I usually use a lot with people is, if you were to die tonight, would you be 50, 75, or 100% sure you'd go to heaven? And so he said 0. I said, oh, really? I said, so what does that mean? He says, I'm going to hell. I said, well, does that concern you? He says, well, yeah, maybe. And so we had a conversation about what that really meant, going to hell, and the reason why we're going to hell, because we've broken God's laws and we deserve to be punished. And, that punishment is for eternity. And so probably talked to this guy about 30 minutes. And, I didn't know whether I'd got anywhere with this guy or not. So I went back to the church and we all did a report time, and I shared with the group about, the conversation I had with this man. And so about 2 months later, I was back over in that area and I was leading revival services at a church. And so I contacted some of the people that were a part of that training. And I said, hey guys, let's go back out in the community and share the gospel again. And so we had about 5 or 6 people to come. And sure enough, I ended up back with the assistant district attorney again. And we ended up back at this very same house, and this time this young man comes out of the house, and I didn't recognize him because he had changed his hairstyle. And he said, do you recognize me? I said, no, I don't. He says, well, you and I had a conversation about 2 months ago about Jesus. I said, oh, okay. I said, well, what do you think? What's happened to you since then? He says, well, he said, that night I went home and I could not go to sleep. I
Mm.
couldn't stop thinking about it. And he said, that week I went to church and I gave my life to the Lord, and I've
Wow.
been serving God ever since then. And he was playing on the praise team, playing drums and all this kind of stuff. But, sometimes we plant seeds and we don't necessarily get to see the fruit, but God allowed me to see the fruit in this particular case. So that was a really unique opportunity that God had given me to see, yes, that, yeah, I did, when I shared with this guy, God was at work in his life.